Hello, I'm Beatriz Penalima.
Hello, I'm Leona Corradi, and together with Beatriz, we're going to present this DVD to you, in which we've taped different kids, real kids, working in the same set of principles we have based our books on. Storyline is a 6-level series for children beginning English at the age of 6. And basically it's based on a set of principles, and this is that learning takes place only when the kid can understand what he or she is being told, when he or she can make sense of the world and of the English he's being exposed to. In this respect, stories play a crucial role, don't they?
Oh yes, they do, because stories present contextualized situation. And in our books, all the vocabulary items, all the linguistic features are presented in context. The stories, which actually are little dialogues, in fact reflect the children's world and use English very, very naturally.
Very naturally, and I would say that simple and yet meaningful. So there is communication, there's real communication.
There is, yes, and that's a purpose, real communication. That's why in starters A and B, all the situations are actually little dialogues, which can afterwards be transferred onto other situations. So they are extremely functional.
And actually they reflect situations which are part of kids' everyday life.
Stories involve children as whole people. It's not only the intellect that we are aiming at, their intelligence, but also their hearts and also their imagination. And that's why children feel so attracted to stories, apart from all the other educational purposes, because stories broaden their capacity to understand other people. All our little stories are extremely child-friendly. And actually, it is a manner of presenting English, which is a new language to them, in a less intimidating manner. Because actually, the little animals which they will identify with are very much like them.
Now, one question that maybe teachers can have is that stories are mainly associated with students whose level of English is much more advanced and have a knowledge of tenses and vocabulary.
Yes, and I would say that's a prejudice, yes, because in our case, perhaps owing to the support of wonderful illustrations, and actually the illustrations present a lot of features that the dialogues, owing to the fact that they are in extremely simple English, can't sort of communicate. So the illustrations are actually the supporters, yes, of the stories. And apart from that, as we were saying some minutes ago, the dialogues are so extremely simple and in such everyday English that I actually don't think that children may have great problems understanding them. Now, let's explain also, because all this introduction on stories may make teachers believe that the books are made up of stories and only stories, but that is not so.
No, definitely. The kids are actually communicating, not because there's a question and an answer, but because there's some sense to construct, to convey. And the idea is that we start off with a story, with a context, a situation, which makes sense to the kids in simple yet natural English. From this story, there are a number of activities in which language is used meaningfully, with a purpose, actually to convey meanings. And towards the end of each of the units,
Yeah.
we close the unit with yet another story, which in a way is a continuation or takes up from the previous stories and integrates everything.
Yes, and this is what we're going to try and show to you. How stories and activities of various types, and all of them very, very motivating and very, very challenging, make up the two books. Well, we would first like to welcome Maria Jose Gandini, who's the English coordinator at the school where we taped the classes that you will be watching in some minutes' time.